In 2014, a good friend of mine, it's actually his birthday today, Jim Blasingame, wrote a book called The Age of the Customer. And he articulated why and how the power has shifted from the seller, who used to have all the information, to the buyer, who can now access all of that information online. And if you look at the years, 1993 is coincidental with what? With the web. And according to Jim, we're going to fully transform where the buyer is going to have all the power in 2025. Where we are right now, we're about 3/4 of the way in. So again, here we are at CEB to discuss digital channels and how to get the most out of them. And if you think about it, everything has changed, certainly since 1993, and even since 2010. But in a way, nothing has changed. Business owners still need information. And here's the thing, the marketers that are going to give them that information, how and when they want it, are the ones that are winning. Think about that for a second. So it's really about smartly guiding them through the journey, which, by the way, as you heard earlier today, they're going to decide when and where they're going to go in the journey. And it's certainly not a straight line. So what we have here is back in 1993, we had salespeople selling to business owners. It was a P2P experience. We have a new P2P. It's personalization to person. So here's another timeline for you. This is the content marketing evolution. Right around 2013, companies finally woke up and they realized, you know what? Content is the way that we need to be engaging with business owners. And actually, this goes probably in any segment, selling to enterprise, business to consumer. And a lot of companies said, you know what? Everybody's doing this. We got to start producing some content. We started getting calls, and a few other people here started getting calls. Maybe, give or take last year, I think a lot of companies said, wait a second, everybody's doing this content, so if we want to stand out, our content's got to be really, really good. Now, where are we now? 2017, 2018, give or take. Now people are starting to realize we got to actually sell stuff with content. And if you're not seeing this yet in your organization, I promise you, you will. You're going to be hearing about it from the CMO if you're not already doing it. So as marketers, we now have a new journey. As we know, the way businesses buy has changed. We now have this tool called automation, which is really the new P2P, certainly when it's fueled by content. And as we just discovered and been talking about, and as you guys clearly already know, marketers are now more responsible for revenue than ever. So what does this mean? This means we now need to go beyond engagement, a term you heard a lot this morning, and the term I've been using constantly for many years. We now have to talk revenue. And if you think about it, the days of getting high fives for 1,000 shares on a piece of content, those days are over. The CEO doesn't care. You're probably not even getting high fives at the water cooler anymore. We really got to focus on revenue. So when you think about goals and what we want to accomplish, there's a wide array of them, right? And what we did here on this chart is we placed them from left to right. The number of dollar signs doesn't necessarily represent value. What it represents is the proximity to actually getting the customer to make a purchase. And it doesn't matter whether it's got $1 sign or 4. In fact, I would argue that without widening the consideration factor or building brand awareness, you're never going to get to 4. But it's important to define what your goals are with your content so that you can get everything possible. And you have to be very strategic with your content programs. These are all valid goals. And what we're going to focus on for the next few minutes is how to do a better job really with all of these.